Hey y'all, it's Cam again. So this is video 11 of the Ghislaine Maxwell deposition. Virginia Giuffre sued her for defamation, so that's what the whole point of this document is. But anyway, it says, so redacted, you said redacted. Is he employed by Mr. Epstein? Again, it is not the only one redacted on the planet. I understand. Do you know a redacted that is employed by Mr. Epstein? Um, Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Can you ask me the question again? Do you know someone by the name of Redacted that was employed by Mr. Epstein back in 2002? I do know somebody who was employed by Mr. Epstein known as Redacted. Do you recognize the other numbers listed at the top of this document? I do not. Would you have known Redacted's cell phone number at that time in 2002? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I have no idea. Can I ask you to turn to the next page, please? Do you know who redacted is who is mentioned on this document? I do not. If you look on the bottom lines of this document, it says still in Thailand. During your stay, if she is, she will be staying at the same hotel. Do you ever recall do you recall ever giving Virginia instructions to meet a girl in Thailand? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I've already testified that I didn't even know that Virginia was going to Thailand. So you didn't give her instructions to meet a girl in Thailand? Like I said, I didn't even know she was going to Thailand. Do you know whether Jeffrey Epstein would have given her instructions to meet a girl in Thailand? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I cannot possibly tell you what Jeffrey did or didn't do. I wouldn't know. Do you know whether Jeffrey Epstein paid for Virginia to go to Thailand? Again, I wouldn't know if he did. Maxwell Exhibit 12, documents marked for identification. I'm going to direct, you can take a look at it, and then I'm going to direct your attention to a couple of pages. Mr. Pagliuca, so the record should be clear. This exhibit, which is 12, is 375, 6, 7, 8, 9, 81, and then skips to 919, 920, 921, 922, 923, 924, 925, and 926. So I'm going to direct your attention to the first page. Have you ever traveled with Jeffrey Epstein where you've received a document like this from Shoppers Travel in your own independent travel? Do you recognize this? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. The front form, the front page, do you recognize the shopper travel form? Have you ever used them as a travel agent with Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, same objection. You can answer. I don't recognize this. Turning to the second page, which is the 00376, do you see at the top of that document where it says Jeffrey Epstein, J. Epstein 457, Madison Avenue, fourth floor, New York, New York? Is that an address you're familiar with? That is Jeffrey Epstein's. I am. Do you see below that travel on Singapore Airlines, and you're going to have to go from New York, JFK to Singapore, Bangkok? Do you see that, Mr. Bagliuca? What? The first entry is going to be on September 27th for New York. Mr. Pagliuca, I see it. Miss McCauley, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the witness. I see it. To Singapore, Bangkok. Singapore, Bangkok, I'm afraid, are not the same place. Singapore, then Bangkok. I'm going to turn you to page Giuffre. It's a little further back, 000919. And do you see at the top where it says J. Epstein underneath, Royal Princess, change mine? I do. Does this refresh your recollection that Virginia Roberts' trip to Thailand was paid for by Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I can only testify to the piece of paper you showed me that has that information. I cannot testify from direct memory. When when Virginia was traveling to Thailand, which the dates again, I'm going to refer you back to the first page so you can see the dates. Mr. Pagliuca, can you identify a Bates number, please? Redacted, which was at the top, says redacted. I'm going to refer you at the same time to the flight logs, which were marked. The thicker document that looks like this with all the long entries on it, I'm going to refer you to page, Mr. Pagliuca, that's exhibit number 6, correct? I'm trying to keep the record straight. Miss McCauley, I don't have exhibit numbers on mine. That's Giuffre, and then there's redacted. Mr. Pagliuca, hang on one second. Can you repeat the number, please? Redacted. And if you will look at the excuse me, and if you will look on that page at the entry under redacted, starting with the redacted, and then it runs down to the, looks like the redacted, that first entry was redacted. Jeffrey Epstein and the initials GM. Do you remember taking a trip with redacted during redacted? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Can you repeat the question, please? Do you remember taking a trip with redacted during redacted? That's the redacted. It looks like through the redacted. I don't remember the dates. I couldn't testify to when we actually did it, but I do remember the trip itself. So you were traveling with Jeffrey Epstein and redacted at the same time. Virginia was headed to Thailand. Is that correct? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't know. Is that right? If you look at redacted on the document that I gave you, the first document, and then you refer to, if you look in the same as above lines, you will see the travel group with redacted. Mr. Pagliuca, are you asking her to compare the documents? Or are you asking her what her personal knowledge is? Miss McCauley, I'm asking if she can look at the doubts, maybe the documents, and tell me if she recalls that she traveling with redacted at the same time this document reflects Virginia was in Thailand. I can't testify to any dates. I couldn't tell you. I can see a date and I can see a date, but I can't tell you that I have a memory of the dates. I have a memory of the trip. I don't have a memory of the time. Who's redacted? Redacted? What is her address? I don't know. Does she live in the United States? She does. In what state? I believe in New Jersey somewhere. Do you have her phone number? Not memorized. Do you have the ability to get her phone number? Of course. Has she ever asked, has redacted ever asked other girls to come over to see Jeffrey Epstein for the purpose of a sexual massage? And I think that may be that Haley Robeson. She was another of Jeffrey's assistants. She was on the Netflix documentary, just so you know. I think it says like Filthy Rich or something with the Jeffrey Epstein one. And then there's also one that has Ghislaine Maxwell, the same series. So something to check out. Anyway, Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Can you ask the question again, please? Has redacted ever asked girls to come over to see Jeffrey Epstein for the purpose of a sexual massage? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Can you ask again, please? Has redacted ever asked girls to come over to see Jeffrey Epstein for the purpose of a sexual massage? I have no personal knowledge. What does redacted do for you? She helps with my not-for-profit Ocean Foundation and any other related activities that I may have. Is she paid for by Jeffrey Epstein? No. She's paid for by you? Yes. When did you first meet redacted? I don't recollect exactly. Sometime maybe 2002, 2003. How did you meet her? I don't recollect exactly how we met. Did Jeffrey introduce you to her? I don't recollect how we met. Does she know Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Can you ask again, please? Does redacted know Jeffrey Epstein? What do you mean by no? Has she met her? What? Has she met him before? What? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I can't recollect a time when redacted. I've seen redacted with Jeffrey, but you're not sure. I know they know each other. What? I know they know either other. That doesn't mean anything. I can't testify to a meeting between them. Do you know where in New Jersey she lives? No. You don't know a city? No. How long has she worked for you? Sometime 2002 to 2003 to the present? Yeah. Why do you think that redacted might know Jeffrey? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Because I know Jeffrey. Have you seen them together? I've already testified I've not seen them together to my recollection. Is it your testimony that Redacted knows Jeffrey Epstein through the work that she does for you? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't recollect, and I don't recollect how I met Redacted, and I can't testify to what Redacted relationship is or is not with Jeffrey. Have you ever talked to Jeffrey about Redacted? I don't know what you mean. In any way, have you ever had a conversation with Jeffrey about Redacted? In what context? In any context. Oh my goodness. Have you ever talked to Jeffrey Epstein about Redacted? Redacted works for me, so it's entirely possible that in the course of conversation since 2002, 2003, that a conversation in which Redacted's name would have come up is entirely possible. I provided you with, and I'm sorry, I don't know all the numbers, but the statement that was issued by Redacted that should be a single page still in your stack of exhibits there. Mr. Pagliuca, Exhibit 10. Did you authorize Redacted to issue that statement on your behalf in January of 2015? I already testified that that was done by my lawyers. So did you authorize your lawyers to issue a statement on your behalf through Redacted in January of 2015? It was determined that I had to make a statement in the United Kingdom because of the appalling lies, and I just thought of some new ones. Virginia's statement that I celebrated her 16th birthday with her, we can all agree that's entirely impossible. I didn't meet her until she was 17, and other lies she perpetrated, that she had a diary, and we all know is a complete fake. That's not a diary. It was just a book she was writing that you helped sell to the press as if it was a diary when it was just a story that she's writing, a fictional story for money. How did you arrive at the words that were put in that statement? Mr. Pagliuca, I'm going to object and instruct you to the extent this calls for any privileged communications between yourself and Redacted or another lawyer representing you. We're asserting privilege. If you can answer that without that, feel free to answer. So what your counsel is saying, and I will exclude any privileged communications you had with your lawyers. The question is, how did you arrive at the words that were put in that statement? If you can tell me without disclosing privileged communications, I'm not sure that I can. Is the statement that you issued true? What do you mean by that? Is the statement that you issued, the statement that's in front of you, is it a true statement? As in that Virginia's a liar? The words you put in there, is that true? Of course they're true. When did you become aware that the statement was being released? I don't recollect exactly. What day it was? No. I'm sorry. Did you identify, not have caught it. Did you identify the name of the lawyer that you said you retained for purposes of this statement? I think Redacted. Did you pay that lawyer, Redacted? Yes. Are you aware of any interstate or international transportation of a woman aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of prostitution? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I'm not sure I even understand your question. I will go slower. Are you aware of any interstate, meaning between states, or international, meaning overseas, transportation of women aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of prostitution? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Are you asking? I'm still not sure I understand the question. I will try to make it clearer. I'm asking you if you are aware of any interstate, meaning between states, or international transportation, meaning by flight or by car or by train, of women aged 18 to 28. Their ages are between the ages of 18 and 28 for the purposes of prostitution. Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. In the world, I'm sure that happens. I read about it all the time. Not in the world. Are you aware of it in your experience with Jeffrey Epstein, of any interstate or international transportation of women aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of prostitution? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. So whilst I appreciate this might not seem like a smart question, What do you mean by prostitution? What are you asking me exactly? That would be sex for hire, any kind of sexual act that's paid for. Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Who's paying? What are you asking me? It can be paid for by anybody. It's a sexual act that's paid for. I'm asking if you're aware of any interstate or international transportation of women age 18 to 28 for the purposes of prostitution. Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I have no idea what you're talking about. So you're not aware of that. No. Are you aware of any interstate or international transportation of women aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of having sex with Epstein where they would receive compensation of any type? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't know what you're referring to. Do you want me to repeat the question? Sure, go ahead. Are you aware of any interstate or international transportation of women age 18 to 28 for the purposes of having sex with Jeffrey Epstein where they will receive compensation of any type? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I'm not aware of what you're talking about. Are you aware of any interstate or international transportation of women aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of providing a massage for Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. So you need to repeat that question for me. Sure. Are you aware of any interstate, meaning between states, or international, overseas transportation of women age 18 to 28 for the purposes of providing massage for Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I think we can agree he did travel from time to time with a professional adult masseuse. Are you aware of interstate or international transportation of women aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of providing a massage to any person other than Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Again, I'm not aware of anybody that if you are asking for specifics to someone else, I have no knowledge of it. So you're not aware of any interstate or international transportation of a woman aged 18 to 28 for the purposes of providing a massage to any person other than Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't recall what any single person being on a plane for a massage with someone else other than Jeffrey for the sole purpose. If that's the question, I don't have any recollection of that. Earlier in your testimony, you stated that Virginia Roberts was 17 at the time you met her. How do you know she was 17? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. And to the extent that calls for a privileged response, I'm instructing you not to answer. How do you know Virginia Roberts was 17 at the time you met her? Mr. Pagliuca, again, if you learned that information from your lawyer, I'm instructing you not to answer. I will follow my counsel's advice. Are you able to answer that question without telling me information you learned from a lawyer? I'm not. So you don't have independent knowledge that Virginia, according to your statement, was 17 at the time you met her. Again, my lawyers instructed me not to answer. I'm asking you a different question, whether you have any independent knowledge outside your lawyers that Virginia was 17 at the time you met her. Following the instructions of my lawyers, I can only remember or testify to what Mr. Pagliuca, she's asking you a different question. She's asking other than what your lawyers have told you. Do you have any knowledge about her being 17? That's what she's asking. I can't recollect where I got all the information that I have that definitely or definitively shows that. Earlier in your testimony, I believe you said all of us would know that Virginia was 17 at the time you met her. How will we know that? I think you know that by her own dates, now that it was in 2000. So her entire tale of me celebrating her 16th birthday is clearly another giant falsehood. But she was 16 or 17 that year, wasn't she? Which year? You said it was 2000. I think the information that I have that indicates that definitively was something that is privileged, so I can't share with you. So you have privileged information that definitively tells you that she was 17 at the time you met her. I believe I do. How would we know that? What are you asking me? Earlier today, you testified that we would know that she was 17 at that time or at the time that you met her. How would we know that? I imagine you have access to exactly the same information that I do. What is that information? Again, it's privilege. I can't share it with you, but you have been on this case for I don't know how much longer than I have, and imagine you have all the information that I do. Do you know whether your lawyers have produced documents from you that would show the age that Virginia was at the time that you met her? Mr. Pagliuca, to the extent that calls for a communication that you had with one of your lawyers, I'm instructing you not to answer that question. I assume you, as part of the discovery process, had to collect documents that were relevant to this action. Is that correct? I did. Did you collect documents that would show that Virginia was 17 at the time that you met her? I think you have everything that relates that I had contemporaneously per what you asked for that I have that relates to that. Did you have a document that identified that Virginia was 17 at the time that you met her? You have all the documents that I had. I'm not asking what documents, I'm asking, do you have a document that identifies Virginia being 17 at the time you met her? You have every document that I have. You've seen every document that I have. Oh my goodness, I'm going to stop here. I got to get water. This lady's just driving me crazy with this obstruction stuff. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.